Disclaimer: the following commissioner's address contains sarcasm, exaggeration, and unsolicited opinions. Side effects may include bruised egos, unnecessary smack talk, emotional damage from the draft recap show. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for those prone to rage quitting, overdrafting quarterbacks, or crying over waiver claims. Do not operate heavy machinery while watching this presentation, unless that machinery is drafting you a better team than last year. By participating in this league, you agree that all trades are final, all roasts are permanent, and that the commissioner is always right even when I am wrong.
Welcome, Spitfireians. This is your 2025 Fantasy Football Commissioner update. The update where I tell you what we have so far and what's going to be happening this year. First up, your team name. This isn't just a username, this is your character for the season. You're basically LARPing, but for football. Costumes, props, whatever fits your vibe, come as it. If your team's called the Raging Platypi, I want a bill, a tail, and unprocessed trauma in your eyes. If you're a Dumpster Fire Express, I want you to come smelling of burnt hot dogs, and you're probably from New York, something along those lines. Next up here is the draft party. We're doing the draft party on August 25th. Doors are going to open at 8:30. Draft starts around 9:05. Please get there a little bit before that because we're going to be talking about this entire process pretty much again. Make sure everybody's on the same page before we get into the draft. So when you arrive, please have the Sleeper app downloaded with your account ready. If you don't, you'll be forced into the pit of shame, and we'll roast you, and we'll probably start with your looks. I run a pretty tight ship around here, so please come prepared. So here we're going to get into the draft. It's going to be a snake draft, 13 rounds, only 3 bench positions this year. That means tough choices. You're going to have to drop a guy you like. You're going to regret it, and 3 weeks later, you're going to see him put up 40 points while you drafted some guy named Jordan Love or anybody else from the Packers thinking it's a good decision, but, you know, that's fantasy football. And when you're experienced, this gives people who aren't so experienced the edge, because what we're going to be doing this year is waivers are reverse standings. So if you're experienced in fantasy football, you're really going to have to choose between keeping a good guy that might not start this week, so you might have a position that puts up no points, which might give you the L for the week versus a bad team, or you're going to have to take the choice and drop him to try to get him back, or rotate out your bench. So it's going to be a lot of action this year, and it's really going to make it so there's not so many teams that are 13-0, 12-0, whatever it is, and we're all going to be very kind of close to each other. So now for the draft show, what we're going to be doing is picture SportsCenter, but with less integrity, Stephen A, but with more pizzazz, and the likability of Skip Bayless out there is what we're going to be aiming for. So the idea so far is we're going to have 2 commentators on stage, 1 field reporter out in the field. The 2 commentators are going to be Sarah and Jordan, and they're going to be kind of driving the ship here with support from myself as the commissioner and our on-field reporter, which is going to be Zach. Me, the commissioner, I'm going to be up on the stage, and I'll be announcing the draft position picks and giving kind of the overall rules and updates throughout the show. And we're going to be booing me every single pick, just like the actual draft. But we're basically going to be going through the process of announcing from 16 to 1 where we ranked your draft and some highlights from the draft. And Sarah and Jordan will provide updates and kind of keep the ship going that way too. So it's going to be kind of a reality show that way. And one fun thing that we're thinking about doing is involving a lot of people from the from the draft here, where whatever position you're in, you'll have to get called on by the on-field reporter, and we'll do a short interview, an athlete-style interview, where we grill you on your position, defend your team, kind of so on and so forth. So we'll develop that closer to the show date. So just make sure when you do come to the draft, be ready to defend yourself and your team and your picks with your strategy in place. As whatever character you decide. So, like I said, with your team name, come as that person or thing. So kind of give you a send-off here. Pick your team name, pick your persona, and commit to it like a method actor. Show up on time with the app ready. If you want to bring some treats, some food, whatever it is to share with the group, terrific. Just show up on time and we're going to have a great time. Show up, try to be early. It'd be great for everybody to get there and we can celebrate and talk about what we're going to be doing here. Embrace the emotional roller coaster of a 3-man bench. I know this is different than other fantasy football leagues, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Refer to the scoring section because I've made updates on there on how to make this league even more fun than it was last year by upping points. Everybody loves getting as many points as they can. I've made a couple of changes to it, so please take a look at that. When you look at that, it's underneath everybody's name on the Sleeper app. Lastly, participate in the chat. Love Smack Talk. There's a Smack Talk feature on the app, or we can just shoot each other texts here in the chat. And think of it this way. This year will be the year for somebody, hopefully not Frankie again, but this could be the year that you win. We get a good pot of money for the winner. And then the last place team stay away from the punishments because this year they're going to be a little bit different. We're going to do that 45-minute show again, but we're adding a couple of things.